All right, peace be upon you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Now, in today's video, I just want to expand upon a concept which I've already touched on before in previous videos, which is that with greater abilities comes greater responsibilities. Or if we're going to quote the classical Spider Man movie, with great powers comes great responsibilities. So, I've used this concept to refute the red pill ideology. People who say, oh, well, women are bad, Western women are bad, so therefore men are going to be bad. Oh, women are using men, so therefore I'm going to use them too. And I refute them by saying, well, no, God has given men a greater level of responsibility because they have a greater ability attached to them naturally. So you can't the men, it's embarrassing that these red pill guys, they're like, oh, if you want a traditional life and I'm not saying to marry a bad woman, but I'm simply saying if you can't find a good woman, to refrain from sexual immorality. But these red pill guys, they're sitting there and expecting they're expecting women to take the moral lead. You start first. You women, I don't like you and the way you're behaving, so that justifies the way I'm behaving. You start behaving right first, then I'll start behaving right with you first. But that is foolish because, again, with greater abilities comes greater responsibilities. God has given men more reasoning, more logic, more ability to control their emotions, more physical strength. So, naturally, since we are the leaders of society, we should take the moral lead and the step in the right direction, and God willing, our women will follow us. The women in society are a reflection of how the men are. But I wanted to kind of take this concept and steer it more towards, or I should say, use it as a weapon against the atheist crowd. So this video was really sparked by me talking with a few people at my workplace. So we were all just sitting there doing our work. It was about 8, 9 people, and we were just discussing God and responsibility and accountability. And one of the guys at my workplace said that, actually a couple of the guys, they said we're animals. We're animals. So I was telling them the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to serve your Lord, do good deeds. This is in every religion, every faith, to serve the divine, honor the divine, to do good, to be righteous, to resist your carnal pleasures, not full monk mode, but in general to discipline the passions and live a moral, godly life. And a few of the people brought up a common atheist point saying that, oh, well, we're animals. We're just like the animals. And here's the thing, the problem with that. Like, so what you have to understand is the atheist. Let me pull up an evolution chart here. Evolution chart. Evolution is really what it is. Look at this. So why does the atheist want to prove this? And this is a ridiculous theory. This is stupid because if in order for you, I don't care about your fake fossils and all this hoax and all these theories. Mankind always makes up his theories. If you're gonna believe this, you have to believe that at some point a non-human, or let's just say here, a non-human gave birth to a human. And that's just foolishness. That goes against my physical reality. In my reality, all I've seen is humans give birth to humans, and dogs give birth to dogs, and cats give birth to cats. Never has there been a cross species birth. But you have to in order to believe in this evolution. But putting that aside, the myriad scientific and factual problems with evolution, why are they so bent on trying to prove this? Why? It blows my mind. I've thought about this for a long time. Why does the atheist want to reduce a man's status to being just an animal? Oh, you see, we're just animals. We're not much different to the animals. Even they give us a name of a species name, just like they give animals. Homo sapien. That's what they call us. Human. Look, even cat. Look at this. You type of Homo sapien, you get this ridiculous evolution cartoon, just like you get those NASA cartoons, and then they tell you that you're a primate. Why in the world are they so bent on reducing man's status to a mere animal? Because I was discussing with the people at my work, and they were saying that we're an animal, and there is one reason. It has nothing to do with science. It has nothing to do with objective, demonstrable reality. They've never seen the fossil records. The vast majority of people who believe in this evolution stuff, they've never even read any books. They don't know anything about it. They just believe somewhat that they kind of came from like a monkey or whatever. It's very vague and loose. Why do they do this? They do this, they want to reduce man to an animal to justify living like an animal. They want to live the most selfish, laziest, godless life possible whilst chasing after their own carnal pleasures and vain desires with no accountability and responsibility. That is the purpose of this theory. It is a theological and teleological purpose. They're trying to make you like an animal so that you can live like an animal and be justified in it because you are an animal. You are fulfilling your nature, chasing after women, going from fun thing to fun thing to fun thing. Look at the monkeys in the wilderness. They just go from entertaining thing to entertaining thing, and that's not bad for them. God made them that way, but for humans, we were made for a higher purpose. But they want to live like the monkeys, going from entertaining thing to entertaining thing, from girl to girl. That, again, it's about reducing the human condition down to the lowest possible denominator to justify their sinful lives. And all of these people, I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but all of these people, they'll say, oh, why should I go to hell? I'm a good person. No, you're not a good person. You stare at women, you masturbate, you're compromised, you withhold the truth within yourself, you hide the truth, you don't serve your Lord. You're not a good person. But anyways, putting that aside, so what is the problem with this, and what was the points that I brought up in that discussion with all of my work colleagues? So they said that, or a couple other people said that we're like animals, so we're justified in living like that. And this comes back to the point which I brought up in the beginning. With greater accountability comes greater responsibility. Okay? So I've had the pleasure to live with various kinds of pets, and we understand this concept at a deep down fundamental level that greater responsibility equals, greater abilities equals greater accountability and responsibility. So, for example, let's think of a dog. I don't know, let me pull up some videos of a dog. Golden Retriever doing tricks. My wife is just laughing right now because she loves dogs and she loves golden retrievers so much, and so do I. She just has such a soft spot for them. They're like little babies. Yeah, little balls of sunshine. They just bring happiness into the world wherever they go. I mean, every golden retriever I've ever met in my life, they act like they've known me their entire life. It's their first time meeting me. It's a beautiful thing. But anyway, just look at this. Let's see some golden retrievers doing tricks.
Sit. Hello. Good
Doing the paw shake.
boy.
Okay. Or she. Right?
Sit.
They can do paw shakes, they can do rollovers, they can go and fetch things. They can even do basic problem solving games like, putting the triangle in the triangle hole and the square in the square hole. So, again, now compare this. So I've lived with a dog before. I didn't own it, but I've lived with it. I've lived with an adorable dog, but I've also had bunnies as well. Now, and I've had them both at the same time. I had a bunny and a dog. So the bunny, I expected less of him than the dog. So the dog, I expected him to obey me. His name was Bear, actually. So I'm like, Bear, obey me, cut it out, quit it right now, good boy. And when he would listen to me, he'd get a treat, he would get my pet and love. And when he didn't, and when he disregarded me, I would ignore him. So, and he would get very sad about that. So, but with my bunny, I didn't do that. So my bunny, he generally kind of disregarded me. He just hopped around, went here, went there, ate his food. He was pretty nonchalant. I didn't expect as much of him as I expected from Bear, the dog. Why is that the case? Because Bear has greater abilities than the bunny, greater cognitive abilities, so greater responsibility. Now there's more accountability. You're going to have to obey me, otherwise there's going to be a problem. Whereas the bunny doesn't have to obey me, and there's no problem. Let's look at an animal even less capable than a bunny, a goldfish. So the bunny, although he's not going to obey my commands in the way that Bear the dog did, he still gave me attention. When I'd call him over, he'd sometimes come over. There was a little bit of accountability. Then the goldfish, there's nothing at all. He just looks dazed and poised, just right at the edge of the bowl. Whether he responds to me or not, I don't care. Why? If I drop too much food in the goldfish bowl, the goldfish will literally eat itself to death. So I expect even less of him than the bunny. Again, with greater abilities comes greater responsibilities. We understand this intuitively. That's why we expect more of a dog. Let's even bring this to newborn babies. Let's pull up a newborn baby. Look at this. Right now, this baby right here has no abilities at all. All it does is cry and scream and soil its diaper and wait for somebody to change it. It can't communicate. When it cries, you have to figure out, is it cold? You have to figure out, is it hungry? You have to figure out if it's just having a temper tantrum. And we don't hold the baby to account for this. We just say, that's how they are, and we love them for it. Then the baby becomes, let's say, around a toddler to a young kid's age, 5 or 6 years old. Now, abilities have increased, responsibilities increase. Now you have to obey me more. Now you can't be whining and complaining and crying like you were when you were 2 months old, 3 months old. You got to behave. Then they enter 15, 16, 17, 18. Now, if it's a male, we expect them to get a job, maybe start learning a serious trade. As the abilities increase, the responsibilities increase. And I'm bringing this up to really highlight something about humanity. Now we have to ask ourselves, so humans by far are, if we want to say animals, and I'm not going to say human beings aren't animals, but let's just go with the atheist thing. Human beings are an animal, okay. We are by far, without even any comparison, more capable than the most sophisticated of animals. Clearly, human beings stand unique amongst the animal kingdom, if we're going to classify them as that, with the greatest abilities. Now we have to ask ourselves, if we have the greatest abilities, is there not now the greatest responsibility and accountability on us? We understand this with every other life form, so why not with ourselves? Why are the atheists trying to reduce us down again to the lowest common denominator and least amount of accountability when we have the greatest ability? And it's totally fallacious, this kind of thinking as well. Let's pull up smartest animals. Smartest animals. A list of them. Okay, dolphins, chimps, elephants, dogs, rats. I've had rats, they're pretty intelligent. Orangutans. Let's just get a handful of them: the dolphins, the chimps, elephants, dogs, and rats. Okay. These animals, and atheists, they're always trying to compare man to an animal and show the similarities between man and an animal. So, man has complex social relations, dolphins have complex social relations. Man plays, chimps play. Man wants to obviously procreate and bear children. Dogs want to procreate and bear children. Uh, Animals get sad. I've seen this. I've had pet rats. Rats get sad. Rats, they feel disappointed in themselves. They have these emotions, right? They cry, they get upset. And again, the reason they're doing this is they want to make us like the animals so we can live like them. But here's the problem and the fallacy with that. I'm willing to say that animals are more or less able to exhibit all of the categories that human beings exhibit. Love, certain animals, right? The really smart ones: love, social relations, this, that, and the other. But look, I'm willing to give it to you. Like, I remember I was watching this video years ago where scientists, the big thing for them was trying to prove that man is an animal. And finally, when one of the things that apparently set man apart from the animal world was that man uses tools. Man uses tools and animals don't. But then they found out that chimps actually use tools. Let's see, monkey using tool. Right here. Man has reasoning capabilities. Animals have reasoning. And now all of a sudden, sorry, you might not have heard me before because of the noise, but man has reasoning. Animals have reasoning. A man, when they found out that man is not the only one that uses tools, these atheist scientists, they were celebrating. They're like, yes, that's our ticket right there. We can live like the monkey. The monkey is just like us. We evolved from them. But here's the problem with that thinking. Even if we accept that man and animals have, they're able to perform the same categories of activities, can animals perform them to nearly the same degree that humans have? So dolphins have social relations, no problem. Are they nearly as complicated as humans? No, it's obvious. Uh, Chimps can love their own chimps, but is it nearly as deep and affectionate and rich as the love that humans show? No. Chimps can use tools. We just saw one using a rock. They sometimes pick up sticks and use them as levers and arms and an extension of their reach. But Are they nearly as complicated as the tools that man uses? No. Power tools and architecture and skyscrapers and weapons and bow and arrows and guns and weapons of war and all these things. And it's such a fallacy the way these guys think. It's so fallacious. Like, just it goes back to even the flat earth thing. Just use your eyes and your ears and you can see that. Let's pick the smartest animals: dolphins, chimps, rats, dogs. All of these are far more similar to each other and closer to each other in nature than humans. If we picked all of them, dolphin, chimp, rat, dog, and human by far sticks out as a sore thumb in abilities, in capabilities, in reasoning, in social relations, in dominance upon the earth. So I don't care of all of the parallels that they're going to try to draw between us and animals. I can clearly see humans have a greater ability. And again, this comes back to what I said. With greater abilities comes greater responsibilities. Now ask yourself the question, why? Okay, I find myself as a member of humanity. I'm not a member of the chimp world. I'm not a member of the rat world. I am a member of the human race. This race that I am a part of has by far the most exaggerated abilities. Now, why do I have these exaggerated abilities? Who gave those to me? And what does that mean now? These questions, why do I have these exaggerated abilities? They will lead you to your creator. And, it's a just asking yourself why you have this, why we have exercised all the dominance, despite not having the strength that the animals do. We don't have the fur, we don't have the claw, we don't have the viciously sharp teeth, we don't have the horns of the rhinoceros, we don't have the towering size of the elephant, we don't have any of these. Yet somehow, through our reasoning, through our sense of judgment, through our ability to resist temptation, that's another thing that man has far higher than the animals. We're able to resist our temptations. If I put an Oreo cookie in front of a dog, there's not really much I can do to make him on his own resist eating that Oreo cookie. He can't know that the Oreo cookie is bad for him. That golden retriever is going to eat it, but I can teach to a human that that's bad for you, you shouldn't eat it, and he can resist and refrain. So why do we have these things? It's because God has placed them in us for a higher accountability. With greater abilities comes greater responsibilities. So this whole agenda of the atheist trying to reduce us down to the animal level, we know what it's about. It's about trying to justify a godless and sinful life. And this is the argument that you can use against these people. Just ask them, okay, fine. Animals are smart. Great, they can reason. Humans are smarter, right? Yes, okay, why are we smarter? Does not greater smarts presuppose greater accountability? And you will leave them speechless. They won't be able to respond to you at that point because you've exposed their ideology for what it is. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I got to say on the matter. I hope this talk was a blessing. And yeah, peace to you. Remember, deceit abounds, so keep your eyes wide open. Peace out.